Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today I have Akash with me. Akash, please share your background. What do you do? Where are you from? And what you're currently doing?
Hey everyone, I'm Akash. I am currently pursuing my PhD in electrical engineering at the University of Southern California. I'm also doing a master's in CS as well as EE from USC. I originally am from Calcutta, India. After that, I had almost a 2 years of work experience in TCS, after which I came here directly for my PhD.
Let's talk about USC, right? USC is expensive school, no doubt about it. Um, let's talk about how your experience has been up until now.
For my lab, it has been a really good experience. My advisor is super helpful, and I mean, I personally like to work mostly on my own and like to have inputs when and where needed. So I have been like sort of, it has been a pleasure for me that my advisor also does the same. He's not like super picky, uh, and he gives a lot of freedom for me to work. So that has been a good experience for me. Uh, yeah, for that's from my lab and the work which I'm doing. I think it's really cutting edge, and it's used in a lot of industries and also, uh, yeah, in total, it's been a good experience.
How's the so USC is one of the most expensive schools, right?
Mhm.
Um, what was going on in your mind when you were choosing USC and did you take out a loan when you were going for your education?
Well, for me, because I came directly for my PhD, uh, it was fully funded. So I didn't have to pay anything for my courses, as well as as far as a PhD student, I received my stipend for my RA. Uh, so thankfully, that was not a too much of a concern for me. But yeah, I mean, I've heard and talked with other master students out here, and it's really expensive in terms of living expenses as well as sort of coursework and all. But but the quality of education, I would assume it's pretty nice, and you get in contact with some of the great professors who are working with very latest technology. And I mean, for the courses that I've been to, it's sort of super updated. Like I was taking a few CS courses this semester as well, and the professors try to keep like even content which is released almost a week back in the course curriculum and stuff. So uh, you probably are pretty much well prepared for the industry as well, with these courses.
So you went from your undergrad directly to a PhD program. How does that work out?
So if you're doing an undergrad in sort of engineering or anything, which is so US needs a 16-year of schooling before you can apply for a PhD. So if you're doing a bachelor's in any like in India, I know the bachelor's are for general sciences are like 3 years. Probably that won't work. But if you're doing in engineering specifically, then you can directly apply for PhD. Uh, well, you need to keep in mind that here you're competing with other students who are probably already done their masters and have a pretty competitive profile and background. Uh, I myself was pretty interested in research from my undergrad, and I had published a few research papers in my undergrad. So that definitely helped me a lot. Uh, and after applying, usually the professors take an interview and they sort of ask you your background and ask you a few general questions about what they need in their lab. And it sort of works out from that. And if the interview goes well, then they sort of want to take you in.
Yeah, but you don't hear often that people are going like students are going directly from their bachelor's. Maybe work experience, since you had 2 years of a work experience, that helped a little
Mm,
bit.
sure. I mean, yeah, that sort of helped me to frame up my profile. The reason was, so when I was doing my research in undergrad, uh, so when you want to publish research paper, it's usually a time-consuming stuff. You come up with an idea, you work on it, you write it, you submit, and then there is a lot of to and fro in that part of it. And most of my research papers had not been published when I completed my undergrad back in 2019. So personally, I wanted to get those paper published before I apply as a direct PhD because uh, otherwise my profile would not have been probably strong enough to get into a direct PhD after undergrad. So yeah, I bought myself some time and also learned a lot of coding and CS stuff while I was working in the company. So that I mean, I mean that was a sort of a good thing in two regards. One, because it helped me get my papers published, and also it helped me gain a really good interest in CS, which uh, In my lab as well, or probably in all the labs right now, even if you're working in any core field, computer knowledge of computer and like sort of any sort of coding is needed in whatever you're doing. So that knowledge and then that interest helped me to sort of also pursue a master's in CS here, uh, which is like a very a good thing that happened, I would say.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What was your profile like? So, what was your GPA? If you took GRE, what was your GRE like? What's your score? And then, how many papers did you publish before applying for PhD?
I mean, when I had applied, I had published two conferences, not like world class level, but like in my Calcutta circle level, which was decent for applying. And I had one journal which was submitted, which was not accepted till then, so it was just submitted. My GRE was 320. I had got 117, I think, in the math section and 150 in the English. And I had given TOEFL back then, it was 108. I forgot the breakdown of that,
That's
but
all right. Don't worry about it. Yeah. And then your GPA you mentioned?
my GPA out of 10 was 9.51.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard this about USC that USC usually takes a lot of importance towards GPAs.
Yeah. Some universities are more academic focused than the others, especially if you are coming for a PhD program, right? I think academics
Yeah. I
makes a
mean,
difference.
personally, from my experience, I would tell that for if you're directly applying for PhD, it's more about the interview that you give with the advisor,
Yeah.
because he's almost the final guy who would sort of want to either take you in or not. I mean, if he gives an approval, it's probably okay with the department.
So what other universities did you apply for?
I applied to a total of 10 universities. Notable ones were Texas A&M, Purdue. Uh, I applied to UC Irvine. Uh, I think ACU I also applied to. Uh, Among the notable ones I remember.
That's all right. And it's all for electrical engineering, right?
Yes,
PhD electrical.
it was
Okay.
mostly about electrical engineering and PhD. I got offers from most of them. One of them, I think Purdue gave me a sort of master's offer, but other ones, usually it was a hectic process because I needed to give a lot of interviews at that point of time. But I'd say, I mean, if people want to sort of, it's sort of like a trade-off. It's either a trade-off between time and money. If you just want to spend 2 years of your life and you have the capacity or you want to take a loan out of it, probably that's one way. But otherwise, if you are really interested in research and you're like, okay, I'm good to give 4, 5, 6 years of my life, then that's another way.
Yeah, PhD is a completely different ball game. I think you need a lot of grit and a lot of determination to be able to enroll yourself into a PhD program. It's different
Well,
than masters for sure. I think 95% of the people who are applying for their masters, or actually 99%, wouldn't be able to do a PhD or wouldn't be able to survive in a PhD program.
yeah, I've seen a lot of people who come into a PhD program and then like just take the courses and graduate out with masters.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that's not a good way, but that's sort of some people take that route as well.
So I saw your on your LinkedIn profile that you came in as a PhD for
Mhm.
electrical engineering, but you're also getting a degree for masters in computer engineering. How does that work?
All right, so well, if you're doing an electrical engineering PhD, you automatically get enrolled in Masters of Electrical Engineering, and that goes on with it. But as I was personally interested in computers, so I wanted to take up that master's as well. USC particularly is really has a really good sort of structure for if you are in a PhD in any of the STEM fields or any of the engineering colleges, you can auto enroll in any other masters. Like you can take courses for any other departments and stuff, and they don't charge you for that as well, as long as your advisor is okay with it. So I
That's
told my advisor because I was handling some of the coding stuff in my lab as well. So he was, and as I told you, there's not a lot of electrical engineers who have a sort of decent knowledge of CS. So in my lab, I was the only one sort of handling CS stuff. So he was like, okay, okay, you can take these courses. That worked
Yeah.
out well.
You worked before coming to the US, you worked for 2 years at TCS.
Yeah.
And then last year you interned at TDK.
Right.
Tell us how different it was working for an Indian company and then coming to the US and working like interning at a company like TDK.
Uh, well, TCS, I think most Indians would know the experience of that, but it's usually because it's a sort of consultancy company. The work pressure probably is I mean, there is client calls, there is a lot of sort of added pressure, and I would say the work environment here is, I mean, to me, it's a lot better than a work environment in India, uh, which uh, from all aspects, it gives you a good amount of work-life balance, and it uh, sort of people are more helpful and sort of welcoming whenever you are asking something. I mean, that's my experience from TCS as well, and here at TDK. I mean, also, I mean, the compensation part of it is a totally different story,
Yeah,
but
100% very different. Would you be okay to share what's your stipend right now, other than, your fees is being paid off? What's your stipend at USC?
uh, the current stipend at USC is 40,000 per year. I mean, that's
Okay.
what I mean, before taxes, and that's spread out over 12 months.
Okay.
They also pay off for health insurance and all other sort of.
Okay. So bi-weekly, how much you're getting?
It's they give monthly.
Okay.
Monthly after taxes, you get something around 3,000.
Okay, 3,000 is very good.
Yeah,
Again, USC is expensive also, and living expenses
yeah,
are
yeah.
also around USC, so makes
I mean,
sense.
I personally do not own a car till now, but if you want to own a car and live like sort of in your own studio apartment, then probably it's sort of borderline. But but otherwise, it's sort of okay. You can live with it.
Yeah, I would give you one advice. Avoid owning a car like until you really, really, really need it.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking
A
of.
car is just not, the monthly bill plus gas plus insurance. Then, you tend to go out a little bit more, then you tend to spend a little bit more. So
Yeah,
avoid getting a car until you absolutely cannot.
yeah, true. Thank you. I mean, I was also thinking of getting one last year, but then I was like, yeah, I probably don't need it, and it's a lot of spending extra.
Yeah, renting out is better sometimes. Getting a Uber once in a while is great, but a car is like a money well. It just keeps taking your money and doesn't give out much. Anyway, the big question, right? This summer you will be interning at Apple, or I don't know if you are already interning.
It's Monday.
Okay, perfect. So you will be interning at Apple. Um, How did that come around? Like, what was that process look like when everybody is struggling to get internships and people are getting fired in the tech field? How did you end up getting an internship, and what was that process looking like?
Uh, so Apple has a really good policy, whereas if you submit your profile and your CV in their portal once they come up with some roles that they think would be a good match for you, they sort of send out mails that, okay, do you want to interview and stuff. So I had uploaded my CV probably a few months back, like probably sometime around last year, and I got a mail somewhere in February that there is this hardware role that I could be interested in, and if I want to interview for that. They give a couple of questions like what time are you available and all sort of basic details, and after that they schedule the interview with you.
Okay.
So yeah, from that it's
How many rounds of interviews do you want to share that?
yeah, I mean, it was first around with my manager, and then after he was good with it, then he told her, I mean, then we scheduled a full round, which was an interview with three different people from my team. Uh, all of them were technical. One of them was a coding round, sort of, which was, I mean, I think my role would be a little bit of mix of both. So that was yeah, so it was three rounds, and the last three rounds were sort of pretty much grilling technical rounds. Uh, But yeah, I mean, I mean, it's not like they ask something which is not in the courses or it's not, it's out of the ordinary. But yeah, you probably just need to brush up your skills before giving the interview and go through the course materials that you have taken. That should be good enough. And after that, it was sort of long wait. My recruiter told me that they almost want to get me picked, but then Apple has some some more steps to get authorization from higher ups and all. So that took a while, and I finally got to know about this around end of last month.
Did you have any other internship offers other than Apple for this summer?
Uh, no, I did not. I wanted to search around, but this was pretty quick, the interview process, and when they told me that they wanted to select me, that process was around a week and a half.
Oh,
So I
wow.
was
That's really fast.
yeah, but after that, to get the final offer was a long wait, and that was the time it was a little bit anxious because I saw that Apple laid off 600 people, and then their car team closed down, and a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
Uh, But yeah, my recruiter was really helpful. I mean, I could call him. I used to call him and sort of budge him every once a week or twice a week. Uh, and yeah, I mean, he used to say, yeah, it's in process, it's progressing and stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah, that I
Okay.
mean, because this role was also pretty much what I was looking for, sort of goes hand in hand with my interest. So I didn't apply for other roles.
And so in your batch right now, or in the year you came, right? Like how many other Indian students are there in the PhD program?
In the PhD program, there is a lot, mostly in CS electrical. There is a lot of Indian students. I mean, personally, I can say that in my lab, I have a student who came 1 year after me, who is from the same undergrad as me. I mean,
Okay.
we were back there and we are working in the same lab here as well. So that was
Nice.
uh, there is a lot of undergrads in PhD. Sorry, there's a lot of Indians in PhD. As I mean, and masters, USC has probably one of the highest number of Indian master students. So
Yeah,
it's
there's a very big audience there for sure. No doubt about it. Even though USC costs so much, I'm surprised so many students make that
I mean, I've heard,
choice.
from previous batches, I've heard that USC has their name for its employability. Like, even though it's expensive and all, it's usually people end up getting decent enough job after that.
Okay.
Uh, Not sure what happens this year. It's in progress, but yeah.
For incoming students who are applying to PhD or masters, right? What kind of things they can do before coming to the US in fall 24? Doesn't matter they're coming to USC or not. In general, somebody who's coming for electrical or computer science, what could they be learning right now?
Well, I could split it into two different segments for masters and PhD. Well, I think for masters, Uh, well, the if you're directly coming after undergrad, you're coming from master's, the course curriculum in India probably is not as up to date as what you would need here if you join the industry, even after master's. And the thing is, the courses here, they just teach you the theory and they need you to learn the coding part or the implementation part on your own while doing assignments and exams and all of that. So I think it would be, yeah, important if like probably specifically for CS I can say, and EE, that if they can learn a little of those parts, like a lot of different coding languages and cutting edge skills, just the basic part of it, so that just coping up with the courses would be a little bit uh easier, and they can, because usually the courses here are like they'll teach you a lot important parts of it from which they'll ask the questions, but they'll also cover the cutting edge part from which probably there will be no questions, but they'll tell you, okay, go through these because these are important for industry. And if you actually want to sort of uh, be in the top of the at the top of the pyramid for getting the job and like have your strengths ready, then you need to go through those parts. So if you are not too familiar with whatever the other parts are, or like maybe you're lagging in that, then maybe you won't have the time for going through the absolute cutting edge part, which is maybe or probably what currently industry would be needing. Because as the job roles shrink, they are looking for more and more strengths in one person, or like to recruit less number of people for doing a lot more stuff and having a wide area of knowledge. So maybe just having a just brief background of all the fields would be just maybe Python, just what CV is, scikit-learn, and everything like that. Just doing some basic projects, which would
Okay.
also help you to get your profile ready for, uplifted for admission. Like if you get your, like let's say you do some own independent projects. I'm not sure how it, when we passed out, I'm not sure internship in India was not such a huge thing. I mean, there were like you need to pay and do some courses, or like there's very few internships. But like nowadays, I'm seeing people are doing a lot more projects and getting internships and stuff like that, which is, I mean, I'd say a good thing which is happening now. Uh, yeah, I think that would really help if you're coming for a master's. For PhD, it's a different story. I'd say a little bit more on the research areas, like research focused.
So
Uh,
that please publish a lot, like publish if you can, and do research projects.
uh, well, publish a lot, probably not. Even if you have one good publication, not even good, a decent publication. I think what professors here while taking you for PhD want to uh, see in you is that whether you have the patience or whether you have gone through the process of doing it, even if you have not completed it, or even if you're not like, I know a few of my friends who have come here for PhD as well. They didn't have any research papers when they came here. Uh, Still, I mean, you need to sort of do some research projects. Uh, I mean, there are projects, which are like a lot of people are doing, and then there's some few projects which are more tending towards the research domain. If you go through that and maybe you don't even submit it, you write an app or you write an article, you just put it on ResearchGate wherever. You don't need to publish it to put it there. You can just so that you have a sort of you can show to people that okay, I have done some work. You can put it on Archive, ResearchGate, any place where they can see that okay, you have gone through the process. I think that would help in the application.
That's awesome, man. And what is like one non-academic related tips for student? Like, what would you like to share after being here for 2 years, 3 years now?
Yeah, it's almost 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
yes,
what would be your like one tip to incoming fall students?
Uh, well, a good tip would be like, well, you feel that you're once you've gotten, it's a all good feel, but then you should be prepared for the grind here. Like, even from academics, I mean, you need to do everything on your house, on yourself, go to groceries. I mean, personally, I mean, I think most of the people who are coming here, you do not do all of these when you're at home. It's your parents who are doing all of that. You get food in your hand, and here you need to make everything on your own. I mean, you have an exam tomorrow, but still you need to cook, make your stuff, do laundry, all of that. So it's a you need to juggle a lot of things together, and uh, I I I think you just need to be prepared mentally to be able to do that. I don't think you can try and practice doing that in India because uh, even if you start, your mom would be like, "Okay, leave it, I'll do it," and stuff. Just having that great in yourself is what you need.
Sounds good. Um, that's it. Okay. Unless you want to add something, I think I'm good with all the questions. I appreciate you coming here and sharing your insights, and good luck with your internship at Apple, man. All the best for everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, if you if anyone wants to reach out, you can probably give my LinkedIn and stuff. Otherwise, yeah, I think that's that's good with me.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to leave the link for Akash's LinkedIn in description. You can, you can ask him good questions. Don't just bug him for referrals or something else. Right now, he's also just going through internship. But thank you so much, and until then, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.